Would you like to bring us in today, Bean?
Oh, yes, that's exactly what we discussed.
And you were just telling me that you have chaotic energy today. I'm really bloody loving it.
Okay, great. I mean, like, I don't know how much. I've also got, like, I'm not going to edit any of it out.
It's raw. It's
It's
unfiltered.
raw. It's raging. Oh, it's very exciting. Okay. Kia ora, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Untidy. I'm Hannah Davison, mother of two, co-founder and author of the My Big Moments children's books, the books that help your little people through big moments and just make your job of parenting a whole lot easier. Quick plug, because I forget to do it all the time. Sorry, Flickr. Don't forget, Untidy listeners, you also get 10% off at mybigmoments.com. So if you have a child that's starting school or getting a new sibling or going to hospital or dealing with grief and loss or wanting to build resilience, go in there and get yourself a book. You can personalize it for your child, or you can get a generic copy online or at your local bookstore. That is me. Sorry, Matty.
Oh,
And I
beautiful.
am here with the radiant.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I actually have something to say about your books. But first of all, I'll introduce myself. My name is Matilda Green, mother of three and one furry dog. He's not a hairy baby, but and content creator. But I wanted to tell you that Autumn is going through a phase because, sometimes like with the My Big Moments books, I find that the kids are like all in for a while on one of them, like really fascinated in one of them. And at the moment, it's Goodbye Comet. So for those of you who haven't read Goodbye Comet, it's about grief and loss, isn't it? Perry and the personalized child, whoever that may be, for me it's Milo and Autumn, have lost their little bird, Comet. He dies. And
Spoiler.
Autumn, she's just spoiler, he dies.
Spoiler, he dies.
And Autumn's she's just got a bit of a thing about death at the moment. So she's quite interested by it. So she wants to read Goodbye Comet a lot. And then she said a few things like, oh, well, we wouldn't do that, or I might fall off and die. I'm like, well, yeah, I guess you could, but, you'd probably just hurt yourself, you probably won't die. She's like, okay. But yeah, it's just quite, death is being brought up a lot, which is interesting. Not really sure what's
funny,
going on
isn't
with
it?
that.
Because we have this whole other understanding and context around it, because we understand the momentous occasion that it is, how it is life-changing, the deep feelings that are around it. We understand this whole impact around death, whereas children are just fascinated by the world and the human experience, in as much as they can understand, and just trying to put things together and realizing things. And so for them, they're just like, well, this is an interesting new thing. When I poke that bird, why doesn't it move? But it's fascinating. And also I love the curiosity with which children approach their emotions, and their lack of judgment when they have emotions. Like, we learn to keep them in. We are told when it's appropriate to express and when it's not. And then we have to relearn that, in fact, we need to express. Like, we have all of this stuff around emotions. Whereas I remember Frankie crying one day, and without thinking, I sort of tried to shush her or something like that, or I don't know, in some way try and stop it. And she's like, Mum, I just have tears that need to come out. And I'm like, oh, you're absolutely right. And
yeah, cool.
Like, I remember Alex, after the for a lot of people that won't know, we were very close to the epicenter of the Kaikoura earthquake, and we had to get out of our house in the middle of the night with the kids over our shoulders, with 4 chimneys falling down around our ears. And it was like horrendous experience. And Alex was about to turn 4 at that time. And we were running out, putting the kids in the car in the middle of the night. Bricks are dropping around us, luckily not on the car. And we were luckily out of the way, but like, our house was falling down, and we were going to shock and stuff like that. And Alex, he did go into shock. He went completely white and his teeth were chattering as we were trying to get away from the situation. And then, honestly, skip a few because there's a lot to the story. But 6 months later, we were driving to preschool and he said to me out of the blue, Mum, when I'm really scared, my teeth go up and down really, really fast. And it was like,
Oh,
yeah. And it was like this, he didn't understand what that meant and what it was, but he observed it. He was like witness to his experience rather than deciding what it means. And I think that's a really beautiful thing to appreciate about our kids, is that they can be witness to their emotions without judgment and without deciding what it means. And so I love the Goodbye Comet book so much. One, the illustrations are just
beautiful.
unbelievable. They're done by Marco Palmieri. He's a Melbourne illustrator, and he is just incredible what he's captured. Hello, Penny Green, by the way. She's in the background.
Yeah. Penny Green has just been ferried to me through the doors. She's been rugby passed in.
Yeah.
And I can always tell with like Art's face, he's kind of like, hungry baby. So you okay to you okay to sort this?
Yeah, and the other thing I love about Goodbye Comet is that it allows children to test run these experiences and test run these emotions before they are confronted by the magnitude of them in the moment. Say if your family dog dies, or their grandparent dies, or something like that, they get to kind of go through this, and it does bring up emotion in a child. And I've had parents go, "Whoa, I didn't expect them to respond the way that they did," but they're allowed to. And they're allowed to feel it, and they're allowed to be there with you in a really safe space where their experiences, they're comforted, they have understanding, they get language and vocabulary around it, they get actions and ideas around what they can do in those moments, and they experience coming out the other side, that experience doesn't last forever, and that they come out the other side with you, with them, and move forward. And so I just like that's, I don't like to pick a favorite between the books, but I think Goodbye Comet probably is my favorite book child.
I think Goodbye Comet is probably my favorite too. And also because oh god, another spoiler alert, but yeah, I mean, we know it's gonna finish on a high, right? Like it's not it's not gonna have an unhappy ending. But I really like how at the end you're kind of with Perry and the other child, like going through the memories, and they've got all the pictures on the wall of like Comet doing funny things, and the kids love that, and they're like, oh look, there's Comet surfing. Oh look, he's eating a biscuit, and it's just a lovely way to finish, a bit of a ride of a story. We can be like, yeah, we've got memories, and that's how life lives on. Rightio,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what a long intro that ended up being.
I think Flickr will be really happy with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think she will be.
That's Hannah's business partner
my business
for
partner,
My
Flickr.
Big Moments.
Yeah, we've allowed her to go on holiday this week. We should do things that we're not allowed to do. Now, but might I say, hello, Penelope Green. It's good of you to pop in on the show. And also, Matty, your hair is looking really nice.
Thank you so much. I actually got it done 2 days ago, Bean. So
it's fresh.
That will be why. It's fresh hair. And I also used, have you seen on Instagram those heatless curl things? It's like a big rod that you put over your head and then curl your hair around it and then secure it with scrunchies. Have you seen that?
I have not.
Oh, okay. So I gave it a go.
Algorithms are quite different.
Yeah, because the stuff that you send me, I don't get any of that.
No pole dancing men floating in the air. Not one at all. Unbelievable.
No.
Look, we all need a palate cleanser.
Oh, don't we? Don't we all? No, mine is basically all like homestead, cottage core, sourdough. Oh, it's embarrassing, Bean. There's sourdough, there's mums in floral dresses, like, get ready with me with a family of 5 kids. There's a lot of that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's great. It's
Amazing.
really cool. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, at least we keep it fresh for another. I have a hair update to share with you. Remember
Oh,
how we like unboxed ages ago the red light therapy cap
yes.
for my hair? Well, since then, I have been every time I go to either my hairdresser or the kids' hairdresser, get them to check like what's happening with my hair growth and where I had lost the hair. And just bear in mind, I'm not just doing the red light therapy. I'm throwing the kitchen sink and everything in it at my
Yeah.
head. I've
Oh
also
god,
put
don't hurt
like
yourself.
I'll take it. I'll take the concussion if I can just grow my hair back. That's fine. Like I'm doing the rosemary oil and the hair oil. I'm taking all of the supplements. I have a couple of products that are supposed to stop your hair from breaking and ones that are supposed to help it grow. Like everything is going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what's responsible, but it's growing.
Okay, so not a great scientific trial,
Correct.
but that's okay. We're here for the results, you know?
Yeah.
So
It's
it's working.
it's working. It is growing. And this is people. Like every time I went through chronic stress, my hair would fall out. Like not all of it would fall out, but quite a bit. And then it's never grown back and it's never grown down again. And this has been going on probably for 4 or 5 years, like nightmare. But it is, it's short, the stuff that's growing, but it is growing all over my head. So it's not just the cap. It's obviously some of the other things that I'm doing as well.
Oh, that's so great.
I know. So it's short, but I reckon like by Christmas I might be able to have, a nice kind of like blunt bob again.
Oh, that is so exciting. And blunt bobs, they're coming back in. So
Well,
you're going to be
finally.
on trend this
Finally,
Christmas.
I won't have to sport my golden retriever look again. 'Cause it never came in. I never wanted it. But here we all are.
Oh, that's so great. Oh, yay. Oh God, you're just gonna be a luscious locked lady.
I know. I just have to keep it up. I'm also
Yeah.
doing that, and I did also tell you that I've gone back to doing my Kegels while I'm using my electric toothbrush. So, like, look out!
Oh, you did.
I'm the whole package.
You're gonna have a strong pelvic floor, hair coming out of your head. Oh my God.
Look out!
Just look out. Look
Yeah.
out, Christchurch.
Oh, now, Matty, we need an update from you.
Okay.
Do we have anything
Before
more from
from Dr. Ben Dentist London? Okay.
Yes, indeed.
The answer is no. The answer is no. I'm going to just put it out there. I never heard anything back from him after my 2 separate voice messages on normal text and WhatsApp. No, there was nothing after my 2 missed calls. And I think that's enough.
I think we need to stop now.
I think we're bordering on harassment if I keep going. So I think we're going to draw a line in the sand. He obviously doesn't. Oh, hi, sweetie.
Penny's like, do it again.
Yeah, so he is not keen to engage, which is absolutely fine. That is his right. And we will be engaging the fish fillet dropper.
Okay, great. Okay.
So,
yeah. Well, he had his chance. He didn't take it, and that's on him. That's on him. We do like to stop just shy of harassment.
Yeah, we toe the line. We toe the line, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, listen, where you couldn't deliver Dr. Ben Dentist London, I can deliver a great story of apology and redemption.
Okay, before you do,
are you going to handball that baby back?
Yes, I am. Okay. Yes, I am. Addy, hello? Oh, God, he's disappeared.
Yeah,
I think
that's
we're okay.
all good. That's all good. Okay, so story of redemption. By the way, listeners, we just want to say up front, we will have some background noise today. We have baby in the room, which is absolutely fine because this is how we roll. 2, Matty is getting her roof replaced. Is that right?
So, yeah, possibly the worst possible thing for a podcast recording is getting a new roof, but that's okay. And I think they're on the other side of the house at the moment. So
Okay,
I
great. I
tried to
can't hear
kind of,
anything.
oh, can you hear?
You know, I can hear
Can you
that.
Okay.
All right, so, and this is fresh. Like this redemption story, this happened this morning.
Oh, it's really hot off the press.
Hot off the press. I know, Penny. I did not see this coming because backstory for context.
Yeah.
Yep, hang in there. This was a guy I dated in the middle of last year. Like I think I met him early July last year, something
Okay.
like that. And by the end of August, it was all done. But he, like, basically, it was. Oh my god, she sounds like she's like, tell me. And he's like,
really?
no.
Oh my God.
You just wait. So it was all really good and quite intense. And then he completely ghosted.
Oh, fun.
Like, sort of started to get a little distant and then completely ghosted without any explanation, without anything having changed, nothing at all. Okay.
Mm.
So let me get to the messages.
Oh,
So
Penny's amped. She's like, tell me.
she's like, okay, I'm ready. The last message I sent to him was 28th of August, 2023. This is after a week of him not responding
I
to
remember
messages.
this, I think.
Do
Yeah.
you? Okay.
Yeah.
We will cut out his name. I said, hey, I understand these things can feel hard, but can we not leave this on a ghosting, just out of respect and basic human decency? At the very least, as a kind and reasonable person, I deserve that much. That was literally
Very mature.
thank you. I do my best. Today, which is the 30th of May, 2024, I get a reply. All right, buckle in.
Right.
It is quite long. He says, hey, you, first off, I just want to say huge sorry for the way I left things. Totally unjustified by me being a dick and ghosting. You did absolutely nothing wrong, but I know you'll know that. And at Christmas time, I had a huge injury. Couldn't turn my neck, was pretty serious. But it was a big wake up. It made me look back and realize how my emotions were a bit bipolar because my body was under constant stress, making me have mood swings and thinking the world is going to end tomorrow. So I acted rashly and tried to do everything in the moment. Been hit myself with some karma situations and made me realize how immature my behavior was. Just trying to right my wrongs and realize I owe a lot of apologies. Anyway, I hope you're doing awesome and still smashing your work and podcasts. You don't have to reply, as I know you could still hold a grudge, which is justified by me just disappearing and acting like a little boy. I am sorry once again. You are a beautiful, sexy, strong woman who's so much fun, and I should have just acted like a man and told you then I was a bit fucked in the head. Trying to find a wife within 24 hours, knowing now life doesn't work like that.
Oh, do you know what? We love an apologetic king.
Yeah.
That is so great. And he threw a good compliment on the end there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I will take that. I will take that. And okay. So at the moment, let me bang on before I get to my reply. At the moment, there have been a whole bunch of situations coming up, and I don't know if you have noticed this or anyone around you has noticed this, but for me and for friends of mine, people in my life, where people in situations from the past have reappeared and kind of presented the opportunity to be dealt with or like resolved or left behind or whatever. Like it's a theme. This is not just me that this has happened to, but friends of mine as well. And I'm like, something is going on here.
That is interesting.
Yeah. And so I don't know, like I feel like it's a time where we have the choice to determine how we move forward. And if events like these happen, I'm like, okay, use it. How can I use it? How can I be really demonstrative about what I want to take with me forward and what I want in my life and what I want to leave in the past that's no longer relevant for me? And so
Mm.
I've decided that I'm really just going to use my voice to express myself just exactly as I see fit,
Mhm.
and to say what my boundaries are, and to say what my expectations are, and to say what the truth of it is for me and what I observe. And who fucking cares how that goes down? I know I am measured. Can be a bit strong, but that's tough shit because that's me. But I know I'm measured, and I know that I'm fair, and I know that I have a right to voice these things. And so often we don't. Especially, I hate saying especially as women, but it's true. Like,
Mm.
so often we are told not to rock the boat, or do something that might be unladylike. And I
Mm.
just think, no, actually, we are born to rock the boat.
Yeah, exactly. And what does ladylike even mean now? Like
Nothing.
that, it doesn't have any relevance because there is no way to be a lady or be a woman or whatever. There's a million different ways to do it, and you make it your own. There's no there is no ladylike,
No, there is no. The
you know?
ladylike is just how other people would prefer that you behave, so they continue to feel comfortable and served by you.
Mhm.
That's how other people want you to be. And I say no.
No more ladylike.
No
No,
more
thank you.
ladylike. And yeah, so I've had a few situations come up, and I'm like, I'm just going to really be honest and really use my voice and just put it out there, because I kind of feel like I want to bring these shifts and patterns and new choices into the physical realm to make it more solid. Just to be like, no, that stuff stays behind me, and this is what we
Mm.
move forward with. Okay, so I
And you've
did
got nothing to lose in that scenario, you
nothing
know?
to lose. And the thing is, I don't think you've got really anything to lose in any scenario, because if what you have to say isn't received and respected and appreciated and responded to with consideration, then do you want it anyway? I just don't know that you do. And baby is
Exactly.
handballed
I
out of
don't
the
think so.
shot.
And the eagle has left the nest. Thank you, Arch.
Good job.
I had just gotten out the My Big Moments bookmarks just to
Oh,
really,
really hammer it
really try and
home.
give her something to clutch onto because she's at that
Lovely.
stage. Anyway,
Okay,
right,
so I
continue.
I decided to respond to this by voice note,
Mhm. Oh my God,
naturally.
can we hear it on the
Yes,
pod? Oh,
we
I love
can.
this.
Okay, I'll turn it up nice and loud. Are you
What are we talking?
ready?
A 4-minuter?
Just shy. All
Of
right.
course.
Yes, strap in.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm here for it.
Hey, thank you so much for that message. I really appreciate that. And honestly, it really doesn't matter how much time has passed. It's never, ever too late to right wrongs and seek forgiveness for someone and restore that karmic balance. So it was a really nice surprise to receive that from you. I don't hold grudges. There's no point. That's actually just going to hurt myself. I don't. But I did need to hear that, honestly, because, like, that was unjustified behavior, as you know. And it did make me feel used. It did make me feel disposable. And it was, you know, it was just fucking rude. um, but you know that
Amen,
now.
sister.
And I know that you are putting that right. And I knew that I didn't deserve it, but it also had the effect of making me question my own judgment and be hard on myself for trusting you and feeling safe with you. And it made me feel like I couldn't trust my judge of character because of that. And that was also unfair on me. And I think knowing what your situation was and understanding more about where you were at mentally, that brings me peace, because had I known that then, things probably would have been different. So it really helps, honestly, to understand what was going on for you, and it means a lot that you had the courage to reach out and send that message, and that you took the time to do it. I'm sorry to hear, about what you've been going through. That does sound really difficult, and but I'm really happy for you that you have taken that situation and sought a lot of learning from it, and you are acting on those realizations and doing what you can to chase down the karmic 8-ball. I think that's amazing work for you personally, and you should feel proud of that. So, yeah, I just want you to know that you've sought my... Well, no, you actually haven't sought my forgiveness. You understand I might hold a grudge, but I want you to know that you wholeheartedly have my forgiveness, and that I appreciate that, and I wish you well.
There we go.
Okay, first thoughts. You are just such a ray of light, Bean. I hope you know that. You really are. Like, you're just... I feel like some people in life have an X factor, and you really do have an X factor. So you should know that. You should know
Thank
that.
you, Matty.
And I think that shows so much about who you are as a person, is that you would take the time to even give this guy the time of day, to be honest. Like, a lot of people would. They might reply and say, thanks, appreciate it. Or they might not reply at all. But you really do care, You let them know, I forgive you. Sorry, you're going through that. Thanks. And, we can end on in a way that brings peace to everyone.
Yeah.
And I just think that's what a lovely exchange.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And it's just, I think it's so possible and it's so necessary. And there's so many things that we leave go unsaid that actually just need to be said. And it feels so much better to do it. Like, it's not that hard, honestly. And sometimes I feel like I am a compassionate person and I am a forgiving person. Those things do come easily to me, because I want to see that full person. It's not just what they have done in that moment, in that one situation. That doesn't encompass the full person. You never know the whole story, and I want to leave room for that. But sometimes it does, like, being empathetic and being compassionate can feel like a double-edged sword, because it's like your own sensitivity can hurt you because other people don't feel to that level. And so I just think if someone is going to make the effort to chase down their karmic 8-ball and sort it out, then it deserves that. Yeah.
Yep, 100%. And do you know what? There is one person that I would like a follow-up message from, who ghosted me a long time ago. And do you know what happened just before they ghosted me? They stayed in my bed and fire trucked. Yeah, I know.
They don't owe you an apology. They owe you a new mattress.
They owe me a lot, to be honest. It was emotional. It was an emotional, horrific thing to go through. It was a physically horrific thing to go through. I had to, deal with all of that.
Oh my God.
I know. So we had been seeing each other for not long, like a couple of months or whatever. And then we'd all been out. He was significantly hammered, significantly. And then I said, look, you can come and stay at my place. And because I just live around the corner, and he was like, okay, great. So came to stay at my place. I I wake up in the night and I can hear some kind of fossicking about. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe he's getting up to go to the toilet or something. But there was a lot of fossicking, and then I hear what sounds like a wee. And I was like, oh, I don't have an ensuite. I turn the lamp on, and he is standing in the corner of my room weeing on my washing basket. Like, as if it was a
Oh,
urinal, as if it was a urinal, and I was like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" And so I tried to kind of, like, grab him by the shoulders and kind of move him out of the room, and he was, completely inebriated. So then he kind of just stumbled around and fell back into bed and went to sleep, and then I woke up in the
oh,
morning and he'd pissed the bed too.
oh.
So not only had he weed on all my clothes in the corner of the room, he hadn't finished. He thought, "You know
Oh.
what? I'm also gonna soil her bed." So,
And then to add insult to injury, I'm going to
ghost.
ghost her.
I'm going to
I
ghost.
Okay, a word
Mm.
on ghosting. Not only is it rude and spineless, but it is really, really mean.
Mm.
Because leaving people in just a state of uncertainty is actually a horrible thing to do to someone. The brain hates it. The
It's very
brain,
selfish.
yeah, well, the brain is always trying to predict what's coming next to keep itself safe. And if it gets nothing to hold on to, if all it's got is uncertainty in a situation that is emotionally charged, it just goes round and around and around and around and around in someone's head. Like, it's mean to do that to somebody. It's
Mm.
so easy to just, like, kindly end it.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
so easy. Like,
exactly.
this is why I have an extraordinarily long document of kind rejections, that I'm happy
Ready
to
to go.
send that I've
At the
shared with
push of
many
a
friends,
button,
ready to
you
go,
can
just for the
kindly
right
reject someone.
situation. Just you can kindly reject someone
And
because
that's
it's
that's
just
all you need to do. Acknowledgement of just,
yeah,
"Look, it's not working. I'm gonna
it's
go my
all you
way,
need to
you go
do.
yours." Yeah,
And it's so
exactly. And
easy.
yeah, it is so easy. You don't even have to do it in person. You know,
No.
if you're
Send a
that
message,
against it,
anything.
send a
Do
message, send a
something.
text, block their number afterwards if you're that stressed about it. You know, like, just at
Yeah.
least so the person can just know what's going on. In this case, the pure shame that he must have felt,
Oh,
I could forgive that, because I thought, do you know what? Like, how embarrassing for his soul to get that drunk and then piss all over someone's room. Like, he was really embarrassed in the morning, like, really,
right,
really
quite
embarrassed.
rightly.
Yeah. And he did help to, sort it out. But
But
my
still,
flatmates were down, like, he was bundling the sheets into the wash, and my flatmate was there. And so it was all
oh
just,
my god.
there was a lot of shame.
But the thing is, like, there is, but then also you have not forgotten it, and you are left with this feeling of that was rude. I deserved an apology. I did not
Mm,
deserve to get ghosted.
mm.
Like, that was unjust behavior. And he will have feelings around this as well because it has not been tidied up. He won't feel comfortable with how this is left. And, like, think about that period of time where these feelings of discomfort and injustice have existed
Mm.
and they didn't need to. I just think, like, that is sowing the seeds of karma that you do not want to harvest later. Like,
No,
just get it done.
exactly. And if you are the ghoster, it's almost like short-term gain, long-term pain, because you think you're avoiding it. You think you're avoiding the
No.
discomfort, but you're actually just extending it.
Yep.
That's all you're doing.
Absolutely. You still at some point need to deal with it.
Yeah, because then it's lingering.
It's
There's
lingering.
a lingering thing of unfinished business. And it's really
Mhm.
interesting that you talked about how the brain goes over things being, because this is what's been happening to me. And I kind of tried to explain it to Art, because my brain and Art's brain are two just completely separate entities, which seems obvious, but they work so differently. It's incredible. But anyway, so we've got like quite a lot of uncertainty coming up for the second half of the year, especially. And that's what they are. They're uncertainties. There are just like different scenarios that might happen, might not. And yeah, so I don't know what the second half of the year will look like. And my brain just can't let it go. It's just going over and over and over every scenario, just trying really hard to figure it out, trying really hard to understand and gain some clarity on like, okay, right, so this is how it's going to go and this is what's going to happen and this is how we're going to do it. But there are uncertainties that I don't know. And my brain just, it's not having it, to be honest.
Exhausting.
It's like, no, I'm going to figure out the unfigureoutable no matter what. So it's just.
Watch this.
Like, he's just a bit more like, well, he's just a bit more pragmatic in that sense. Like, well, it's, if this happens, then, that'll be fine. We'll figure this out and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, my brain just can't be okay with not knowing the outcome of something, with like, or at least just not being able to envision what that might be. It's
I think it's really interesting because I think one of life's great hacks is to get to a point where you can learn how to live with uncertainty and still find places to ground yourself and reassure yourself and feel stable in those times, to find that inner stability, because it is, otherwise the brain is just going round and round and round and round and round, going need to predict, you've got to be safe, but you can only find the things that you can find stability in, that okay, well, but these things will exist and these things will be consistent, and I know for sure that like, just remind yourself of the things that are stable and that are predictable, and don't forget to meditate.
Exactly. And that has not been happening for the last wee while, because Penny, I mean, she's a godsend, blessing, divine, love her, but my God, that girl is not going well at nights. So last night I checked the time, because at the moment I've just been like, nights are a blur. We feed, we go to sleep, we feed, we go to sleep. And I've been like, I feel like the feeds are creeping up. I feel like the feeding to sleeping ratio is completely out of whack. And last night I checked the times as I woke up. So first feed was at 10:30. I'd been asleep for half an hour, niggly. And then it was 1. And I was like, okay, that's certainly not ideal, but that's a bit of a bigger stretch. And then 2, and then 3:30, and then 4:30, and then 5:30. And I was like,
she's grazing.
She's grazing. She's grazing on my boob. So, and that's been happening for a while. And so then I set my alarm for 6 every morning, and I wake up, and I'm finding that the kids are getting up earlier and earlier, because like I set my alarm for 6 so I can sit up and meditate and shower and kind of be up before them. But it's a race at the moment. Who can get up first? So it's just fallen off a bloody cliff. But I need to prioritize it again, because it makes such a difference, and I know that it would make a huge difference with this constant analyzing of the future.
100%.
If I could just bring back that practice. So
because you're just letting off a bit of pressure. Every time you do it, it's like your Coke bottle gets shaken up, and then every time you meditate, you just open the cap a little bit and let off a little pressure and let off a little pressure. And remember, like, she's not even 1 yet. So within this first year, you can meditate like for as long as you want, whenever you want. So even if you grab 5 minutes here or 10 minutes there or whatever, you can totally do that. That's what I need
to get better at, actually. Yeah, the snacking rather than the regimented 20 minutes. So yeah, and actually that does bring me on to, I need to ask the listeners something. So this is me throwing it out to the community. So because of the sleeping issue, I'm not my best self. I'm not the most calm and like, fun. Let's, like, I don't have a lot of energy. I'm not that fun. Like, I'm okay. Like, let's just give myself a bit of grace.
Give
I'm
yourself
okay.
a break, yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay. But I've noticed that I don't know which is coming first. Is it me being a bit less fun and a bit more snappy so the kids are fighting more, or are the kids fighting more and then that's bringing up more snappy? Because they are relentless at the moment of bickering. And before I had kids, when people would tell me that, co-workers and whatnot, I'd be like, oh yeah, just ignore them. Who cares? Like, it can't be that big of a deal. But now that I have kids that are fighting, oh my God, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I can't, and so what I want to know from listeners is, how do you deal with it? Because I feel like I'm constantly managing, and then sometimes I wait and just let them figure it out, and then Autumn's always crying, comes to me, she's like, I gotta tell on you, Milo. And then I'm brought into it, and then oftentimes I'm like, oh, if you can't share with this, I'm just gonna take it away. So I take the toy away, they're still fighting. It doesn't really fix anything, doesn't give them a solution. It's just like, this is going to help me in the second because I can't handle this anymore. So I want to know, how do people deal with fighting kids? Because honestly,
Tell
it's
us.
exhausting.
Tell us.
It's exhausting.
Send us a message. Send us a DM on Instagram. Send us a DM on Facebook, although I'm not as good at checking those, I'm not going to lie.
Send us a pigeon mail.
Send us a pigeon mail. We love gifts. Send us a... I don't really mean that. I mean, I do love gifts, but send us an email to hello@untidypodcast.com. Yeah, we love hearing you. And we love you being part of the show and sharing your stories. And we love your voice notes. So tell us what you do with the fighting kids. Tell us if you have any great karmic twist stories, like fire truck stories. We'll take it all. We love it. I'm going to finish on a listener story.
Oh, I love these.
I know. And then I know that you have to go
hear the goods
to do the things. Okay. This one's called Revenge on a Creeper by, we're going to call her Moira. She says, hey, love the podcast. Obviously, I leave this bit in. Hey, love the love the
Thanks,
podcast.
Moira.
We love you too. The chats and giggles. Keep doing awesome stuff. I just listened to the revenge episode today at work. Oh gosh, the fish in the door panels. It reminded me of something I did. I thought I should tell you about what a friend and I did to a guy's truck in the outback in Australia when we worked for an oil and gas company. And look, she's absolutely right to tell us this is where this goes. He was a real dick, used to drive around and creep on us and watch us work and then do absolutely nothing himself. He was above us in the company. We've all known these people.
Yeah.
But just such a dick. So when the work ran out, the night before we flew home, we put fish pills all down the vents in his truck. Not just a few, a heap of them. He used to crank his aircon in the truck and never open the windows. And I should add, it was hot. Not just hot, super hot. Hot up near 40 to 50 degrees some days, and so many flies.
Oh, that is so good.
It's so good. And I had to go back and be like, okay, just to be clear, I'm like, so the fish pills, do you mean the ones that we take? And she was like, yeah, those those super potent krill fish pills that were real stinky.
Fish oil.
The fish oil, real stinky fish oil ones. And she goes, yeah. And she said some of them they popped so that just to make sure that it was already coming out, and some of them they sent in whole. And I'm like, I just love the attention to detail here.
It's so good and so disgusting. And it just brings me so much joy thinking that this dickhead of a person, is just sitting in their smelly truck, covered in flies. Oh, how good. Because it doesn't ruin their life, right? They've just got to deal with an annoying smell. They can't figure it out. That's the true revenge.
That's
you don't want to ruin someone's life, right? But yeah, actually.
Can you imagine? I don't know how you'd ever rectify the truck.
Yeah, that is actually, he would have probably had to have bought a new one or had some extensive repairs done, which is,
that's hilarious.
Hey, that's
what you get for being a creeper.
You're a dick. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Instant karma, buddy. Oh, well, Matty, I know that we have to wrap up. I have more stories, but they're going to have to wait.
Oh, they're going to have to wait. But next week or the week after, we can continue with the list of stories, and then we can bring in the tips from you guys about kids fighting. And together we can all
Yes,
end
please.
kids fighting forever. With our community,
Forever
I reckon
end.
we could get enough tips to just fix it. And then it's done, and they'll never fight again.
Agreed.
Easy.
Done. Approved. All right, Matty, you have a beautiful day, and everybody listening, thank you so much for tuning in to Untidy. We love having you here and as part of this community. And don't forget that we really need to, we need to ask you a little favor. We just want to ask if you could share either this episode or your favorite episode or the entire show itself with at least one friend today who you think would enjoy the show, because that helps us keep going, that keeps our sponsors happy, and it means that we can keep doing what we're doing, keep sharing our untidy and everyone else's untidy moments with you, and get lots of amazing guests to have great conversations and remain in your ears forevermore. Amen.
Amen. Love it. All right. Well, have a wonderful week, Bean, and everyone else, and we'll see you next week.
You too, Matty. Take care. Mate wa, everyone.